I think the CGK has definitely a great opportunity to be able to have multi-destination trips to be able to visit all three countries. In my presentation, I was focusing mostly on youth travel and educational tourism. The reason being, these are the best markets to be able to visit all three countries in a trip. Should I tell you a little bit about those markets? So the youth travel, normally they're 15 to 30-year-olds. They want to try to have some sort of experience overseas. They're very interested more in life experiences than in just making money. And they're into informal as well as formal learning. So going to another country to be able to experience a country firsthand and to learn about it is very appealing to this market. And when you look at just the numbers by itself, the international arrivals, about 20% of international arrivals to the United States were this youth market. And that ended up being about $194 billion US. And it's growing. The youth market, they travel on average about 1.5 times more than regular tourists, and they spend about $1,000 to $6,000 per trip. Now, if you look at the growth, especially of the education market within that youth travel market, that's gone almost 28.5% increase in the last 5 years. So, and these trends are increasing. In the 1990s, there was about 15% of the tourism market was youth travel, then about 20% over the last 10 years, and it's expected to reach about 25% of the travel market in the near future. And who are the people that are traveling? It's mostly the middle class. Currently there's 2 billion people that are in the middle class, and by 2030 it's expected to be 5 billion people. So that means that there's going to be even more opportunity for travel to CJK, or to China, Japan, and Korea. And more specifically, I was talking about it within youth travel, then education travel, then even smaller would be executive MBAs and MBA travel trips. About 70% of these education programs have an international travel component, and it's ideal for visiting, for example, Korea plus Korea and Japan, or Korea and China, or the three of them together. So they can compare and contrast between American, North American, European economies and Asian economies. So within the scope of the forum, I believe that this definitely fosters a great way for better understanding amongst the different cultures. And of course it promotes peace by having that people-to-people interaction and being able to meet people in the destination, learn about the market, and also take that information home with them. Oh yes. I think that when I was talking about the executive MBA and MBA field study trips, this is a great way to get business leaders, future business leaders, and the executive MBAs are senior business leaders, to be able to meet people within the 3 different destinations, especially since they have the ability to go to the different countries within one trip. And while they're there, they like to do site inspections of companies and get different senior managers, insights. They meet other people, they meet other MBA students within the destination. Those types of bonds that are made during these trips are lifelong. And by doing so, you're increasing the amount of contact within high level of companies, which in turn is good for the economy and good for peace and stability here within the region. Oh yes, I think there's a lot that we can do, especially of course my background is tourism, and when I'm thinking about this, the researchers within tourism marketing, they should focus on the different niche travel market segments, such as the youth market, education market, and within the education market, MBA, alumni tours, study abroad, etc. By studying these different markets and making the information available for the NTOs, the tourism boards, then that way they can spend their marketing dollars, their promotions, their budgets to be able to focus on these markets to bring them here. And by doing so, by increasing these high-level tourists, these aren't just the average, holiday makers. These are people that are the movers and shakers of big companies and within society. So that definitely will be helpful. Wow, just looking at the speakers that are lined up, it's pretty amazing. There's about 7 or 8 former heads of state. There's one that is a international, how should I say, speaker without saying his name, who could be a possible potential head of state soon. Just by having these people who were formerly heads of state to be able to have their experience and to be able to discuss the issues, there's a lot of issues today, that are very contentious, and there's of course a long shared history between Japan, China, and Korea. So being able to talk very frankly, openly, and to be able to discuss these things, I think that gives a great foundation on how to move forward for current administrators who maybe are can't say exactly sometimes what they are thinking, but it's more about policy. But here, they're former heads of state, so they can say what they think and what the government thinks, so it's not always the same. So I think that open discussion really is the best way to make sure that we have better understanding of the other countries within the Northeastern Asia. Oh, sure. And as I had mentioned before, my focus is more on the youth travel education market. So for the CNTA, the JNTO, the KNTO, I think that if they really can focus on how are they going to work together. I think right now they're still in the formative stage of what they're going to do or how they're going to do it. But I think that if they really have a clear goal of how they're going to increase the number of tourists to this region, and also I would give 2 different answers. One is if they're trying to increase just the number of people for financial reasons, as in more tourists spend more money, etc. Or are they doing it on more of a philosophical side? Are they trying to increase really understanding of each other's cultures, understanding of creating more peace? Then I think that's when they should focus more on the education market. Getting students to come over, for example, like 5 weeks in China, 5 weeks in Korea, 5 weeks in Japan, and then do that for a semester or a full year for a study abroad. Those types of programs really would integrate the 3 different countries, the cultures, the history, the politics, to have a better understanding for North Americans and Europeans. That's on the political and the philosophical side of why this peace and prosperity. But on the financial side, if that was the focus, then I would focus on the cruise markets. A ship with 3,000 people coming in, stopping at Japan, Korea, and China, increasing the amount of cruise ships. And of course, there's lots of other niche markets that are related to Korea, Japan, and China, such as martial arts tours, Buddhism, pottery tours, museum tours, UNESCO cultural heritage sites, which is plentiful here in Jeju Island as well. Gyeongju, the most UNESCO sites. As you know, you're Korean, so you would know this.